Welcome to the second edition of Back to Basics, where I'll be covering the 4 phases of change: awareness, engagement, adoption, and sustainability. But just to get us started, let's agree on what each of these mean. So let's start with awareness. Awareness is really about the knowledge or the perception that we have either of a situation or a fact that we've been given. Engagement. Engagements are feelings and emotions that we have towards our peers, our management, and even the organization. But if we're properly engaged, that will generate energy and passion in the actions that we will take. So it's a really important step. Adoption is about establishing new work habits and anchoring them. And the best way to do that is to put yourself in other people's shoes. And then finally, we go to sustainability, which is really about the ability to maintain the new work habits and then grow from there. So now that we've covered the 4 phases of change, let's go through a real live example. As an example, I've chosen relocating. Imagine that you're relocating to a different city, so you're uprooting your family from one city to go to another for an amazing job opportunity. And in an organization, we could consider relocating from downtown to closer to the suburbs, for example. So even though we've mentioned the phases in a sequence way, it's also cyclical. And that means that the order of the actions may change based on the environment that you're in. Now, the first thing you're going to do is you're going to want to announce this to your family. So let's start with awareness. You're going to want to announce the relocation, either through a discussion, maybe I start with a communication if it's in the organization. And in there, you're going to cover a few points. You're going to cover what the relocation is about, why we're doing this relocation, when is it happening, and probably who's involved. Now, obviously, if it's family, hopefully it's all the family members. But in an organization, it could be a subset of the organization. In an organization, you would perform what we call an impact assessment. And that's the idea of understanding what the impact of the change is going to be. How is it going to be affecting the people? How is it going to be affecting the processes in place? For the impact assessment, some of the things we'd probably cover if we were in the office was, is it during the summertime that we're doing the move, so it's going to be impacting vacation time? What's the commute going to be like during the summer, off the summer? The relocation, the new office environment, the furniture might change. You might go from cubicles to desking. And from a family's perspective, you probably made plans because it was in the summer, you signed up for camp, you're finishing school, you've planned trips, you're preparing school registrations. All these changes you would need to cover, and you would usually do it in an impact assessment. So throughout the change, you're going to want to keep a two-way communication, either with your family or in the organization, because you want to keep understanding any concerns they have, any preoccupations they have, and answer any questions that may come up. Even if you don't have the answer, address it anyways. It's always okay to say, I don't know yet, I'm going to get the information and come back to you. There's nothing worse than being in uncertainty when you're in a change. So between the announcement and the impact assessment of the change, everybody's going to react differently. So you'll have probably, if it's at home, your 4-year-old kid who's super excited about relocating, new house, new park, new friends, he's super happy about it. We call those the approvers in an organization. They're happy about the change. You probably have your adolescent who's completely in shock. They're just surprised that this is coming. They're still wondering where is it coming from. Those are the resistors in an organization. You'll have the neutral, and that's the one who figures, you know what, I'll let the chips fall where they may. And that's the same thing in the organization. They'll kind of see how the change progresses and where this is going and how they fit into that change. And finally, you'll have that last little group, a little bit more sly. When you'll be talking to them, they'll be all smiley and they'll agree with you and think it's a great change. And as soon as you have your back turned, they'll try to turn the others against you. This is your cue to rally advocates. So it might be the 4-year-old who's super excited about the change, and maybe even the one who's kind of neutral is seeing how things are going to play out. Those are great to go back to the other kids, understand if they have maybe issues, concerns they didn't necessarily share with you, and bring back the information to you. And in an organization, we call those ambassadors or champions. Now that you've rallied up your advocates, ambassadors, champions, Include them in the change effort because you're going to want to generate quick wins. Maybe you're only moving in 3 months or 6 months. You got to keep them engaged during this whole time. So one of the things you can do if it's your family, you can include them in the house hunting. Look for schools together, or even allow them to plan a farewell party for their kids. If it's for the office, maybe have the champions or the ambassadors visit the new location, take pictures, provide feedback, and they can bring that back to the rest of the organization. Now, throughout this change, you're going to keep communicating, you're going to get feedback, you're going to action this feedback. And that's okay because everybody adjusts and embraces change at their own rhythm. So now you've relocated. It's important to continue taking the pulse. And the reason for that is, even though everybody has been preparing themselves for the change, once they're in the change, people can react and adjust differently. So keep having those two-way communications. It's very important, and then grow from there. Not everybody is going to be happy with the change. That's a reality. But what's important is that they've gotten all the information necessary so that at least they understand why the change took place. Hopefully this example has provided you with a better understanding of what managing change entails. If you've liked this video, give it a thumbs up. If you'd like to see more videos and get notifications when they come out, please click our subscribe button. Lastly, if you have comments or questions or topics that you would like me to cover, please add them in the comments below. Thank you for watching and see you next time.